Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Is Sortly a Good Fit for Your Business? We are excited to have you here as we explore how Sortly can streamline and enhance your inventory management processes. We'll dive into the features, benefits, and practical applications of Sortly, helping you determine if it's the right tool for your business needs. So let's get started. Here's a look at our agenda for today. We'll begin with a high-level overview of the Sortly web application. We will show you how to organize your inventory using folders for efficient categorization and easy access. We'll walk you through the process of adding items to your folders to ensure your inventory is detailed and well documented. We'll then demonstrate how to generate and use QR code and barcode labels to streamline inventory tracking and management. You'll learn how to set up quantity and date-based alerts to stay on top of your stock levels and expiration dates. We'll cover how to update your inventory by moving items between folders or adjusting quantities as needed. We'll explore how to utilize Sortly's reporting features to monitor inventory performance and make data-driven decisions. We'll take a look at the Sortly mobile app, highlighting its features and functionalities for managing inventory on the go. Finally, we'll wrap up with a Q&A session where you can ask any questions you may have and get personalized guidance. Thank you for being here today. Let's dive in. Let's start by reviewing the left-hand menu. Here we have the dashboard, items, advanced search, tags, reports, notifications, and settings. From the dashboard view, you will see the inventory summary, any recent activity, recent items, stock levels, and you can also filter by a number of ways. You can filter by folders and choose only folders you want to see, and you can also filter by the activity. Let's move on to the items tab. Here's where your items will live. You can search your items using the search bar at the top. You also have the ability to add an item on the right-hand side, as well as a folder. And you can sort your items once they're added to your inventory by name, quantity, or price. Next, let's move on to advanced search. This feature allows you to navigate your inventory effortlessly using various filters. These filters can include folders, quantity, min level, barcodes, QR codes, and any custom filters you may have. Now let's check out tags. Tags offer a versatile way to categorize your inventory, making it easier to search or organize them. While folders are typically arranged by location, tags allow you to group items based on other criteria such as brand or color. From the Notifications tab, you'll see all of your date-based and quantity alerts, which you can filter by date range and sort from newest to oldest and much more. Now let's head over to the Settings tab. Here's where you'll find some personal preference settings as well as some company settings and additional settings as well. You'll land on the user profile setting, which will allow you to update your name, email address, and change your password. If you click on Preferences, this will allow you to update some general preferences for your account only, such as time zone and how you'd like your items to be sorted. Clicking on Company Details will allow you to update your company name and customize your company colors as well as a logo. You can also update some general settings that are account-wide, such as your country, date format, and currency. For those of you that are owners on your account, you can access the plan and billing page. This will allow you to see how much you are currently using based on your allotments, manage your plan, switch your plan, add seats, or even update your billing details. When you get to the user access control, this is where you can control and manage your team. There are two options here, Manage Team and Manage Permissions. Manage Team is just inviting your team to the account, setting the permissions that they have. This is available on Advanced, Ultra, and Enterprise. The one that is only available on Enterprise is the Manage Permissions tab, which gives you a little bit more flexibility to control what your users can see. So in this instance, we're going to go to Manage Team, and I'll show you a little bit about this page. If you need to add more seats than what you have, so currently I have 5 available seats on my account, I can click on the Add Seats button. When I do that, it will then prompt me to, choose the number of seats that I want to add. It'll give me a price, and those seats will automatically be added. If you need to invite a user, you can click on Invite User, fill out their information here. You can choose their role. So if you want them to be an owner, they will have full access. If you want them to be an admin, they will have full access except for users and billing. And if you want a team member, this is where you can designate which folders you would like them to see, along with any specific preferences, such as do you want them to view only or view and edit. Moving out, if we go to custom fields, which we're going to go into in a little bit, you can create custom fields here that will allow you to add more details to your items. Right now, we have a serial number that is visible in the list view. It's applicable to items, and we have the option to edit it or delete it. We'll go over this a little bit later. The next section we would want to look at is manage alerts. If we had any active alerts here, they would show here. You can also bulk edit your alerts here as well. So once we get into the demo a little bit more and we add items with expiration dates and quantity alerts, we'll be able to go ahead back to this manage alerts page and manage those alerts in bulk. Another fun option is to bulk import your items. This is for new items only. So you can, if you have an existing spreadsheet and you'd like to import those items, you can do so using this method. If this is only for new items only, you cannot update existing items. Again, we'll go into this a little bit further as we move along. The next option is create labels. So if you do not have any labels yet and you don't have any items added to your account, you can go ahead and create unlinked labels. This will just create a blank list of labels for your items. You can then apply them to your items, scan them, and then add the information afterwards. Now let's take a look at setting up your inventory in Sortly. You can organize your inventory, assets, or consumption by setting up your folder structure. You can create folders and subfolders based on location, category, or any other classification that fits your needs. In this example, we will set up our inventory for a construction business that has a warehouse, work vans, and some job sites. So if you look over here, we will see that we have our 3 job sites, we have 3 vans, and 1 warehouse. Within the warehouse, if you go down, you're going to see that we can categorize it further, and we have a shelf A. If you go a little bit further, on shelf A, you have bin 2. So let's say that there is another bin on shelf A. If we click on shelf A and we click add folder, we can name that other bin to bin 3. Now you'll see that on shelf A, which you can also locate up at the top here, you will see that we have bin 2 and bin 3. So shelf A, bin 2, and bin 3. Now let's say we hire a new employee and we need to add another van. Let's go ahead and click on, or make sure we're on the All Items tab, because that's where all of our items live, all of our folders. It's the main header of this section of the app. You're going to click on Add Folder, and we are going to add another folder for another employee of our company. So now we have our warehouse, we have some vans, and we have some locations for our job sites. If we want to, we can actually further build this out. So let's say we need another shelf and warehouse. We'll click on the Warehouse tab. We're going to click on Add a Folder, and we're going to add Shelf B. This way, we can differentiate between Shelf A, Shelf B. And again, let's go ahead and add some more subfolders or locations to this Shelf B. So in Shelf B, we are going to add another folder for, let's see here, Shelf B, we're going to do bin 2, and we're going to do another location or folder called bin 3. So now, if you take a look, we have our warehouse further categorized by our shelves, and then we also have bins on each of those shelves. Now that we've set up our locations as folders, let's go ahead and add some of our inventory. So to add an item to your inventory, you click on the Add Item icon at the top here. From here, you'll see that you can fill out the name, quantity, a unit of measure. You can set a min level, add a price, include some photos, and then choose which folder you want to add it to. If you'd like to, you can also click on Show All Fields. What this will do is it will open up a page where you can add more details about the item that you can't from the original pop-up. So let's just go back here. We're going to go back to click on Add Item. In this instance, we are going to create an item called paint, and we have 30 gallons. So we're going to do 30 and then the unit of measurement of gallons. And we're going to add that. So now in our warehouse, we have 30 gallons of paint. Let's go ahead and add another item. This will be a bucket, and we will have a quantity of 40 units. So we go ahead and add that. Now we have 40 units of buckets, we have 40 buckets in our warehouse, and we have 30 gallons of paint. And the last thing we're going to add are brushes. In our brushes, we are going to categorize those as boxes. So we're going to have a quantity of 30 boxes of brushes. Now that we have all of our items added to our location, we can then go ahead and move certain quantities of these items to either job sites or job or vans or to different locations within the warehouse. So not only can you add your items manually one at a time, you can also use our bulk import feature. You can access that by going to settings and then going to bulk import. This will allow you to import your items from an existing spreadsheet. There's two options here. We have the quick import, which will allow you to import your items into a single folder. And then we have advanced import, which will allow you to import your items into specific folders so that you don't have to move them later. Let's go ahead and go back to our items tab. We're going to look at a couple different features and functions of your view here. So the first thing is we have group items. This will allow you to group items with multiple variants and clones with the same SID, which is a sortly ID. Right now, we don't have any variants or clones, so this will not work, but you can just toggle that on and off if you do. Next, you can always sort by, name, updated at, quantity, price. So all of those things are available to sort by. And the last thing is the view. From here, you can view your layout in a grid style, which is the default. You can switch to the list style, which is pretty much like the grid view, but just adds a little bit more information. And lastly, you can switch to the table view, which acts like a table. You can slide right to left and view all the information about those items. Let's go back to the grid view so we can look at it, these item cards and folder cards to get a better idea of what you can do from this view. If you look here, we have our items right here. You will see that we have a set alerts option, updating the quantity. You can move it to a different folder. You can also see the name, the quantity, and the price. If you click on these three dots, it will give you some more options for those items, such as looking at the activity history, any transactions that took place, quantity changes, etc. You can create a label for that item. You can export that item to a PDF or CSV. You can clone the item, merge it, and delete it. The same is true for folders. So if you look here, you can set an alert for the folder, you can edit the folder, and you can move it to another folder if you desire. For the three dots here, we can see the history of that folder. We can create a label for the folder, export it, clone it, or delete it. Now let's add a bit more detail to our items. So if you click on your item card here, it will bring up the full details of the item. So you can add photos, prices, min levels, custom fields, etc. So we're going to add a photo to this item. So we're going to click on edit, which will then open up the editing field where we can edit all the different fields. We're going to click on this right here, and we are going to choose our brushes to add a photo. You can add up to 8 photos at a time. You would just click add photo and continue through that process. Now we're going to go ahead and save that. Let's go ahead and click edit again, just so we can add some different options. So for the price, let's say that they are $4.99 a box. That means our total value of our 30 quantity for $4.99 is $149.70. Let's go ahead and save that. Let's go back and add some more pictures to our other items. So for the bucket, we are going to add our bucket here. And we're going to go ahead and add the price of $15, and that means we have 40 at 15 for a total value of $600. Let's go back to our warehouse, and lastly, we're going to add the image for the paint. So if we click on that, we can go ahead and upload our paint picture. We can add our price of $50, which is a total value of $1,500 for 30 gallons. Let's go ahead and save. Now, if we go back to our warehouse, we'll see that we have some nice photos here that will allow us to see the products visually before we even click on them. Now that we have our items added, let's go ahead and add some quantity and expiration date alerts. We're going to start off with our brushes, and we're going to set an alert for letting us know when our stock is getting low on those brushes. To do this, you can go ahead and click on Set Alerts on the top bar right there, and you will see that there is a quantity alert and an expiration date. We are doing quantity, so we're going to hit Next. Now you can choose when you want to be alerted. So do you want to be alerted when that item is at or below a min level? Do you want to be alerted when it's greater than? So in this case, we're going to do at or below a min level of 5. So I'm inserting both of those there. Then we choose who we want the alert to be set to. I'm the only one on this account that needs to be alerted that this item is going to be low, but otherwise you can choose owners, admins, team members, or select people manually. Once you hit confirm, you will see that your min level alert is set, and you can view that here. You can also click on the item itself and view it right here. Let's go back to our warehouse. Just click on the paint icon here, and then you're going to go into edit. From here, you can add expiration dates. You can edit other functions as well, but right now we're going to add an expiration date. Let's make it 1 year from today. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now this item has an expiration date on it. If we go back to our warehouse view, you'll see that no expiration date shows here, but you can change the view to the list view and you will be able to see the expiration date here. You'll also be able to see it in the table view by scrolling to the right where it says expiration date over here. Now that we have our expiration date set, let's go ahead and set an alert for that expiration date. We're going to head back to the grid view. And we're going to go and hover over the Set Alerts button. Just like we did with the quantity alert over here, you can click the same button right here and choose the expiration date instead. Once you hit Next, you'll be able to see the expiration date. You get some options of when you want to be alerted, as well as who you want the alert to be sent to. So in this instance, you have the option of before that date, on the same date, or after the date. And then you can also choose days, weeks, months, or years. In our example, we're going to do before 3 days. We want to be alerted that this is going to expire. I want this alert to be sent to myself, but if I wanted other people, I could include them as well. You can also select people manually by clicking the button and choosing the user that you want to receive this alert. Once you're done, if you click confirm, your alert will be set. To view either quantity or date-based alerts, you can click on your item. You can go in here and you can see that there is a min level here, quantity alert right there. We don't have any expiration date for this item, so there's not going to be any alert. If we go back to the warehouse and we click on our paint, we will see that there's an expiration date, and then we also have that expiration date alert set. You can also go to settings, and when you go to settings, there is an option to manage your alerts. This will show you all of your alerts that you have set and give you some criteria. So it'll give you the name, what type of alert it is. Is it a quantity or is it a date-based? The description, so for our instance, for our brushes, we have a quantity of at or below 5 boxes. It gives you the trigger, when it was last triggered, when it was created, who's receiving it, the sortly ID, and what folder it's in. You can also filter by date range if you need to as well. Now let's head back to our items tab where we're going to create some QR labels and barcode labels. Depending on your plan type, you may be able to create both. We're going to create QR labels just for ease of use in this webinar. So you can create labels one of two ways. You can either create them individually by clicking on the item's 3 tabs and clicking on create label, or you can also create labels in bulk. So to create labels in bulk, you would go ahead and select the upper left-hand corner of one of your items. You can continue to select other items, or you can also choose this option up here, which will allow you to select everything or on this page. So right now, we're just going to do labels for these 3 items right here. If you go ahead and click on create label, it will bring up these options. You have label type, paper size, and then the label size based on your paper size. So in this instance, we are going to choose QR label. We are going to choose the paper size of US letter, and then we're going to choose our medium size label. When you do this, you will then see that there are certain label settings at the bottom. If the label setting is highlighted, that means you can go ahead and toggle that on and off. If it is not, that means you cannot include this item on your label. It's based on the size of the label. So for instance, if we were to go to large, you would see that we'd be able to include a photo of the item on the large label. So we're going to go back to our medium size. We can go ahead and choose additional item details to include on this label. You can only choose one of these items though. So it can be notes, price, min level, tags, total value, or any of your custom fields. So for this instance, let's go ahead and choose our serial number custom field. You can also choose to add your company logo or an icon by toggling that on. And let's click next. When you come to the next, you're going to have your options, your printing options right here. So label quantity, there are 3 different ways to do this. You can print 1 label per item. So if you are just picking, we have 3 items that we've chosen. If we want to print 1 label per those 3 items, it would print 3 labels. If you do custom, you can click and do 10. So you're going to have 3 items and you're going to have 10 of each. So you'll have 30 total labels. If you wanted to, you can also do as per item quantity. So when you do that, if you have 20 brushes, 20 buckets, 20 boxes, it's going to print 20 of each of those labels. So just for this instance, we're going to do 1 per item. You can also choose a label start position. If you have a label, let's say you've used some of your labels on your US letter, you can go ahead and choose the position of where you want your labels to start. You can also include printing instructions. So whenever you create a label, what will happen is it'll generate a PDF, and then that PDF will also have instructions included. You can also have this sent to your email as well. And if you ever have information about purchasing labels or recommended printers, these are hyperlinks that you can visit here. So in this instance, we are just going to print one label per item, and we're going to click on Create Label. So now what this has done is this has created a label in our system, and a PDF was generated. So here we have our brushes, paint, and bucket because we chose one per item. It shows that we've added that serial number. We don't have anything in this field, so there is no serial number showing, but it also includes the QR code and the sortly ID for those items. If we go back to our account here, you'll see that if we click on an item, if you scroll down, we now have the QR code. If you need to reprint a QR code for any of these items, all you need to do is click on the Create Label option again. It won't change any of the details about the label itself. You can just choose a different type. So let's say we wanted to do wanted to print a QR label on a label printer. We can just change the paper size to label printer, and then we can choose the size that we need for the label printer. So in this instance, let's say we just want to do, a medium 4.5 by, this is a regular label size that would just, come off a single label printer. You can go ahead and choose that. Again, your options down here will be available to you. Let's go ahead and choose for this instance price. So we can see the price down here on this field. We're going to click Next. We're just going to choose one, so we only need one label for this item. We're going to click Create Label. And because this is for a label printer, you will see that it is positioned this way so that when you load the labels into your label printer, this label will print out as a single label. You'll see that the price is down here, brushes, and you'll also see that we have our QR code and our sortly ID as well. Now that we've created our labels, let's take a look at updating our inventory. There's two ways to do that. You can either move items from location to location, or you can change the quantity. So in this instance, let's take a look and let's move some of our warehouse items to our vans in preparation to move to our job sites. So let's go ahead and move some brushes. So let's say we want to move, we need 3 boxes, and we are going to move them because we are going to replenish on the van, and we're going to choose Mike's van right here. This is going to move 3 of the 30 boxes from the warehouse to Mike's van. When we do that, you will see that Mike's van now shows as a folder that is highlighted. If you click on there, you will see that there are 3 boxes there, and in our warehouse, it has been removed 3 boxes from there. So we have 27 brushes here. Let's say we need to move some buckets too. Let's go ahead and move 1 bucket. We're going to also move that to Mike's van, so we're replenishing his van. So let's go ahead and do that, and we're going to click Move. And again, if you click on Mike's van, you will see that those items are there. This is just indicating in real time what is moving from our warehouse to the vans. And again, let's just move some paint. We're going to move 10 gallons of paint to Mike's van as well. And here we go. So this automatically deducts our quantities here in our warehouse. It accounts for our quantities on Mike's van. Let's say Mike gets to the job site and he's working on 123 Main Street and he uses 5 gallons of paint. You can go ahead and you can click on Move to Folder, and you can move 5 gallons of the 10 we're going to use that we're going to consume them, and we're going to consume them on Main Street job site. What this means is on the job site, we now know that we have used 5 gallons of paint. Additionally, we're going to move some brushes as well. So let's move some brushes. We're going to do 1 box of brushes. We are going to be consuming them on the job site for 123 Main Street. We're going to move it, and now we know on the job site here, we have brushes and paint, 1 box, 5 gallons. And lastly, let's just go back to Mike's van. He needs to move a bucket, so let's go ahead and move that bucket. He only has 1 item on his bucket, so we're going to move that to that job site of 123 Main Street. So now you'll see that left on Mike's van is just 2 boxes of brushes and 5 gallons of paints because he has used those items on 123 Main Street. Another way to update your items is you can actually decrease the quantity. So let's say that you're doing an inventory count and you realize that you actually only have 26 boxes of brushes. You can just change the quantity and mark the quantity reason for changing that quantity. So you can go to update the quantity. When you do this, you can either use the plus or minus signs to update the quantity, or you can type in the new quantity here. So let's say that we realize that we only have 26 boxes. So this is going to decrease this boxes by 1. And then we're going to choose a reason. So we're going to say, let's see here, we can use stock take. So we went in, we took stock of our warehouse. We realized we only had 26. We're going to account for that here. So you can choose the reason of stock take. You can also add a transaction note if you'd like. You do not need to do that. So when you click update, you now have the correct amount of brushes in your correct amount of brushes and the correct amount of boxes in your warehouse. Then, if you wanted to, you can go see those transactions as they happened in the reporting section, and we'll show that a bit later. But for now, let's go ahead and move some other items to other vans just to see how that looks. So we need to move some paint. We'll move, let's say, 10 gallons of paint. Again, we're going to be using it for replenishing a van, and let's choose John's van this time. So now John's van has enough paint on there, and then we have our adjusted amounts here. Next up, let's take a look at creating variants. So some of the reasons you might use a variant is if you, for instance, have a shirt. So let's say we have work shirts for each of our employees, and we have different sizes and colors and sleeve lengths and things like that. So we're going to create these in our warehouse so that we can distribute them to our employees. So to create a variant, you're going to go ahead and click on an add item. And then there's going to be a box down here that says item has variants. You're first going to want to name this. So we're going to name this work shirt. And we're going to say that we have 5 of these work shirts. They're just a unit, so you're going to keep it like that. We're not going to enter any of this other information. We're going to focus solely on adding this variant option. So when you click on add variants, you have the option to add an attribute and then options for that attribute. So for instance, we're going to choose size. And here we're going to choose our sizes that we have. So we have medium, we have large, and we have extra large. Now we have an attribute of size with 3 different options. You can go ahead and add another one as well. So let's do color, and we're going to do white, black, and blue. So here we have our sizes, our colors, and our options for those. If you click on next, it's going to give you the option to choose how many of each one you want. So let's say we only have 3 in white. We have 3 medium blues, and we have 10 blue extra larges. The rest are, we have a quantity of 5. So we're going to click on add. That's going to add our shirts, our work shirts, as an item. And it's going to add them in an option where you can either look at them individually by size and color, or you can group them together and it'll show as one work shirt with 9 variants. So a lot of people like to look at it this way, group together. If you want to see them separately, you can do that as well. When you group them together, if you'd like to see them separately, but in an item group view, you can go ahead and click on that item group, and it's going to show you all of the variant details. If you add a picture, you can as well. Just note that you will have to add that picture individually for each of these items too. And it'll also allow you to add a barcode for this as well, a QR code or barcode. If you need to add another variant, so let's say that we forgot to add a size of small, you can go ahead and click on add variant here. You're going to choose size, and you can type in the word small, hit enter, and then choose your color. Let's do small black, and we're going to hit add. When you do that, we now have the variant size of small, and we also have another color of small black. You can also click on view item to view the items individually. And again, if you go back to your warehouse, you'll see them grouped together. And now you'll see that we have 10 variants. If you want to ungroup them to see them individually, you can do that as well.
Now let's take a look at tags. So sometimes, the custom fields or other indicators such as locations for folders may not fit in with how you want to categorize your items. So if you go to tags, you can go ahead and add tags for your items. You can add it straight from here, and you can also add it from an item. So let's say that we're going to brushes and we want to add a tag for this brush because we know that it's new. We can go ahead and click on edit, and then we can add a tag directly from the item and choose new. So we're going to create that item, that tag right here on this item is new. We're going to save it. And now this tag will show on this item as wherever this item is located. If we go to tags, we now see that we have a new tag. And if you click on that tag, you're going to see the brushes. So let's say we wanted to add another item that is new to this. So let's take a look at the bucket. And we want to make sure that the bucket also has this tag. Again, you can click on the item, click on edit, add the tag of new, and save it. Now when you go back to your tags, you can easily sort by new. So let's say we have, we want to categorize between new and used items. We can click on add tag in the tags field and put a tag in called used. When we do that, we can then go ahead and add items to that tag as well, so we can filter between the two. So right now there's no items with the tag used. You'll see that by the empty tag icon, and there are items with the new tag, as you'll see by the filled in icon. So if we go back and we want to say paint, and let's say that is used, we can go ahead and click on edit. We can add our tag of used, and we will know that this item is used. So let's go back to tags once again. We have brushes and buckets in our new, and in our used we have some paint. Now let's take a look at Sortly's reporting features. If you navigate to the Reports tab over here, you will see a list of the reports that are available. Some plans do include all of these reports, some only include a few, so we're just going to go briefly through them. The activity history report will give you a report of all activities that happened in the account. So you can see that we created this item today, we moved some items, we updated some items. You can also filter by the activity. So if you want to filter by a specific sortly ID, you can type that here. You can also filter by the specific action of the activity that happened. You can also filter by the month, day, week, as long as you would like to go back in your history to see that activity. Inventory summary gives you a real-time view of what's in your inventory. Again, this little option to group items is great. So your work shirts here, the variants that are 10, you can go ahead and ungroup them and they will show as separate. So we're going to keep them grouped for this example here. Let's say we just want to see where paint is. We can go ahead and click on paint, and we'll see that as an inventory summary, we have 30 gallons. This is the total value, and here's all of our paint, and you can also see where it is located. Let's say again that you want to filter by some different functions. So you want to filter by a folder, a name, a quantity, if certain things have min levels, if they have date alerts. So for instance, let's look at any items that have date or quantity alerts set. So if we click on with quantity alerts set and we click on apply, it's going to show us the items that have a quantity alert. So remember we set this min level on these boxes of brushes, and so that is why that is showing up when we select the quantity alerts. Again, you can clear and apply and you will see all of your inventory again. One of the great things about this is if you ever want to export your inventory, you can do so. You would just click on the export button at the top. You would want to choose which items you want to be on this export. It is defaulted to a CSV, but you can also export as an Excel file. So that'll give you a real-time view of your inventory if you need to export it to share with different members of your team that are not in Sortly. Let's go look at low stock. So the low stock report will show items that are low in stock. So if we have something with a min level of 5 and there is an item that has 4, it will show in this filter. In this report. We don't have any items that meet that criteria right now, but if they were, they would show here. Transactions will give you exact transactions of what happened. So as the activity report shows more specific activities like editing items, adding a tag, transactions will show you actual transactions that happen with the quantity change. So here you can see that we've created a bunch of items, we've updated items. If we had added any transaction notes, we could see them right here as well. So when we deleted that one box of brushes because we realized that we only had 26 boxes instead of 27 and we updated it, we could have added a note there as well. The next one is item flow, and this just gives you a little bit of an idea of where your items are moving from folder to folder. So you can see that, your paint, this is the quantity decrease, this is the quantity increase, and you can actually click on view report, which will bring up your transaction report, this one right here, for that specific item. So again, item flow just shows a general overview of where your items are moving and the amounts that are moving between those folders, and then you can just view the report for each of those items. Move summary report is pretty similar. You can go ahead and see where things have moved. So originally we had some things in the warehouse. They moved to 2 destinations. You click on the drop down box here and you will be able to see which destinations they moved to. So we did move some stuff from the warehouse to Mike's van and John's van. And then we also moved some stuff from Mike's van to the job site 123 Main Street. So this again will give you an overview of that. If you click on there, it'll give you a little bit more information about what was moved in that folder. And you can click on view report, and again it'll bring you back to the transaction report for that specific folder and item. User activity summary report is good for if you wanted to check up on, what your users are doing, how many times they're moving things, updating things, creating things, deleting, things like that. You can also filter by the specific user. If you have multiple users on your account, you can filter by date, and you can also filter by users over here as well. Sometimes you may want to share your inventory in a better looking view other than a spreadsheet. We do offer a PDF export, and there are a couple ways to do that. Let's say you wanted to export just from one folder. So for instance, you have this job site 123 Main Street. The customer wants to see what is at that job site. You can go ahead and select the 3 dots here and click export. When you do that, it's going to give you the option of a spreadsheet like you can in the inventory summary report, the page, which is the PDF, or integration, which is Dropbox. We're going to choose PDF because we kind of want to see like a list view or an album view of what our inventory looks like. It looks a little bit better in a PDF format. We're going to go ahead and click next, and here's where you can include some export settings. So we definitely want to include folders and items in this because we want people to see what is in that folder and what is on that job site. And also you can include a title page if you want. For this one, we'll do 123 Main Street. You can include a summary page, which will summarize by name or shortly ID. You can also choose to include the labels, and then you can choose to exclude the photos. The photos will be there by default. So let's go ahead and choose to include our labels. And let's choose which fields we want to export. You could choose 6 of them. I'm going to choose the quantity, the price, and the shortly ID. So this is going to export in an album or a list view, and it's going to give us a title page as well as some labels and then these 3 items. When we click export, it is going to export to your device with a PDF, and you can go ahead and open that PDF, and here's what it looks like. It's a much nicer view of your inventory, and if there isn't a label, by the way, it will not show your labels. Otherwise, if there is, it will show all of this information that you chose to have included in your PDF. Now let's say you wanted to export from more than one folder. You want to see all of your items in a nice PDF format. To do that, you're going to go ahead and go to search. And when you go to search, you're going to want to make sure that you select all of your items and folders, okay? This will give you everything that's in your inventory. So we've already done that, and I clicked on filters. This is why you can see that the filters are applied. So here we have all of our items that are in our inventory. We can go ahead and we can click on the box at the top left, and then this will bring up the bulk edit bar. To make it really easy, we want to see all items, so we're just going to click on that and choose all items. This will give us 19 items that are in our inventory, and then we can click on export. And just like we did before, we can click on the page PDF option, and let's say we want to do, let's do an album, just see how that looks. We'll click on album right here, and when you do that and you click on next, you can then choose your export settings. So we definitely want to do a title page again, because we want to see what that looks like. We're going to do all inventory. Oops. You can also choose to have a summary page, and you can also choose to include your labels. We're going to include our labels for this because, we may want to scan them at some point. This will automatically choose all the options that are available to export on a PDF. If you don't want a certain one, like a min level or the total value or any serial numbers or expiration dates, you can choose to remove those. You can also choose to remember these selections for future reference, but you don't need to. So now you can go ahead and click on export. Again, it will be downloaded to your device in a PDF format, and we're going to go ahead and open that up. And here's our title page just like we had before. And this one you'll see there's a bit more detail. The photo's a bit bigger, there's some more information, the label's a bit bigger, and it goes by each page. So this is another great way to show your inventory outside of Sortly. If we go back in and we go to another view, let's say you want to just do a couple of exports. You don't want to do everything in a folder. Let's go to the warehouse. Let's say we just want to export the buckets and our paint. We can do the same thing by clicking those 2 items. We're going to do the bulk edit bar up here. We're going to click export, choose the page. We're going to do a compact version this time. Click next. It'll again give us our options that we normally have. So we're going to do warehouse for this one. We can go ahead and include labels, which we want to do because we're going to give these to the guys on our trucks so that they know what's in the warehouse, right? So then we can go ahead and choose the Sortly ID, the quantity, and we just want them to see the quantity, the tags, and the Sortly ID. That's about it. So once we do that, we can go ahead and export, and then this way you can go ahead and send this over to the, your workers in the vans. They'll be able to see what's going on, and then they can see exactly what you have in the warehouse. And they can go ahead and scan these codes with their Sortly mobile app and perform actions with those codes. Let's take a look at a few more things before we move on to the mobile demo. So the first thing I want to look at is product news. Over here, we're always open to ideas and features and making things better for our users. So if you ever have something that you want to have implemented in Sortly, feel free to open up the product news section and you can see what current feature requests are out there. You can also see what we have released recently, and you can also check to see what's on our roadmap. If you see something that you like, such as cycle counts for instance, you can click on that cycle count. You can then go ahead and you can vote on it up here. You can also add a comment to say, I really like this feature. So feel free to use that at any point. Also, if you need help, you can click our help icon down here. It'll bring up our chatbot, which will allow you to, search for things, find help center articles, and things like that. Additionally, you can click on our help icon here, and when you do so, it will bring up our help center, and you can go ahead and you can look through our help center and find all the answers that
Now let's take a look at the Sortly mobile app. When you open the app, you'll land on the Items tab, and this is where you'll see all of your items and folders. If you look at the bottom, you'll see your menu. So you have the dashboard, items, search, notifications, and menu. We're going to start on the dashboard. If you click on the dashboard, you will see that it looks very similar to the web version. You have your inventory summary, which gives you an overview of your inventory at a glance. You'll have some quick action links to your reports. You'll also have some recent items that were updated or changed. And then you'll have some stock levels at the bottom, showing you if you are low on stock on any of your items. Moving to the Items tab, you'll see that you can see all of your folders and items here. If you want to see a specific folder, you can go ahead and just click on that folder, and you can then scroll through to see all of your items. If you'd like, you can also click on the upper left-hand corner and choose a specific folder to look at, and then you'll see what's in that folder as well. If you look at the top right of the Items tab, you're going to see 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, this will allow you to filter your view, select multiple items, search for items, or export your inventory. Let's take a look at filtering your view. Let's say you don't prefer the list view and you would rather see your items in a grid. You can click on Grid and Apply, and then your item view changes right there. We're going to go ahead back and change it to list view again, and then just look at some of the view options. Hide stats means that you can hide the stats that are at the top of the page, such as total value, total quantity, things like that. Summarize items means that you can summarize your items, group them together if you have multiple variants, or clones of items that you'd rather see as one item group. Hide folders and hide SAD. Those are allowing you to just hide the folders or hide the sortly ID. And then we also have options to sort by if they are available. So we're going to go ahead and click on Apply. Next, we're going to move on to searching. When you search, you can do this a couple ways. Number one, you can go on the Items tab and click on the search icon at the top of the screen. You can type in your search, and you will see that you can find all of your brushes in this instance and where they are located. So if you look, we have brushes in Mike's Van, Warehouse 1, and 123 Main Street. You can also do the talk to text searching. So if you click the microphone and say brushes, it will come up with all of your brushes in your inventory. Brushes. And there you see that all of your brushes will show up just by speaking that word into the search. Another option is to use the scanning icon. Well, we're going to go through that on our next screen, but you can click that little scan icon right there, and you'll be able to search by scanning the item. Now let's take a look at the search function. From the search tab, you can go ahead and type in your search. So if we search for brushes, again, we will see our brushes here. You can also do a scan to search. What you'll do is click the little scanner icon at the bottom, and you can go ahead and scan your code. Moving on to notifications, this is where all of your notifications will show for your quantity or date-based alerts. As you can see, we don't have any right now, but if there were some, they would show in this list. If you click on the 3 dots in the upper right, you will see that there is a filter option. You can filter by the alert type, the status, and you can sort from oldest to newest, or vice versa. On our menu tab, you can do everything you can do on the web version for the most part. So you can go ahead and look at your user profile, your personal preferences, and in your preferences you can change to your system settings. You can have always dark, or you can choose always light. You can update your company details. You can access your plan and billing if you have access to that. You can see your reports, so you can click on any of your reports just as you would on the web and see them here. You can also do a bulk import. So rather than doing this on the web, you can do a quick import from a CSV and import your inventory from your phone. You can add or manage custom fields. You can manage your team and their permissions if you have access to do that. You can create unlinked blank labels. So if you have an item that you don't have in your system yet and it doesn't have a label, you can create a label here, apply it to your item, and then add it via scanning. You can also create and manage tags. If you click on a tag, you'll be able to see what items are listed under that tag as well. And then syncing inventory. While Sortly does sync your inventory automatically across all devices, there may be times when there's Wi-Fi connectivity issues and your items may not sync to the web version. In this instance, you would just go to your mobile device, click on sync inventory, and then do a full sync. When you do this, it will then sync all of your items any changes you made on your mobile device and put them back on your web. A couple of other things are product news. In product news, you can see our feature requests. You can submit a feature request, see what we've just released. In help and support, you can go ahead and ask for help and support. We have the Help Center and Quick Start Guide. We also have an answer bot where you can go ahead and type in your question, and if we can't find an answer for you, you can create a ticket. Once you do create a ticket, you can go ahead and click on My Tickets, and you'll be able to see all of your tickets there. Next, we're going to take a look at how to add an item. If you go to your Items tab, you can click on the plus icon in the bottom right. When you do that, you can add an item manually. You just click on Add Item, enter the item name and details, and any photos that you desire. You can also add an item via scan. So when you do this, the scanner icon will show up. You can then scan your item. What this does is it will scan Amazon and eBay's databases, and it will see if this item exists. If it does, and it is the correct item, you can go ahead and select that item to add your item. When you do so, it'll import the picture and any relevant information that we can pull from Amazon. It will also add the label that you scanned to your item, but you can also create a custom label if you'd like. So if you want a separate QR label or a separate barcode label, you could do that there. Once you do this, you can go ahead and click on Save, and now that item that you scanned is now in your inventory, and you can access it at any time. Thanks for joining us today, and we're going to hop into our Q&A session now.